Yes. Demetrius knows he needs me. And he knows that I'm also better than he is. And DJ's great. Great guy. He does his job very well, but I've exposed him once and I'll do it again.
Yo, what is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about whatever happened to former UFC bantamweight / flyweight Ian Uncle Creepy McCall. Ian was born in Costa Mesa, California, where he got into a bunch of fights growing up. He was known to start fights at the local town center, often hitting kids for no apparent reason. He was also a part of a gang called the Lords of South County, who often attacked unsuspecting people in groups. During one instance, Ian attempted to uppercut an oblivious bystander, but was countered by a right hand and knocked unconscious. He also struck a woman one time in the face, but claimed he thought she was a man. If that was 2026, Ian, I might believe you, but I digress. Some of the individuals in the gang were charged for crimes, including former UFC fighter Rob Emerson, but Ian was never charged. Ian took his need to be physical with people to the wrestling match for Daniel Hills High School, where he was a standout for the team. He continued his career at Cuesta College before dropping out due to a knee injury. I couldn't find much background on how he transitioned into MMA, but he made his debut in 2002, beating Jerry Sampson by RNC in the second round at Warriors Quest 6. He went on to win 4 more fights before making his debut in the premier organization at the time for lighter weight classes, the WEC, where he TKO'd Cody Wheeler in the third round at WEC 30. He went just 1-2 in the promotion though, losing to Charlie Valencia by guillotine choke at WEC 31 and losing a unanimous decision to Dominic Cruz in his last fight at WEC 38. He won 4 fights in a row after losing to Dom, beating the likes of Jussier Formiga and Dustin Ortiz before making his UFC debut in a 4-man flyweight tournament to determine the inaugural UFC flyweight champion. He drew the now flyweight GOAT and potential MMA GOAT period, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, in the first round of the tournament. The bout took place on March 3, 2012 at UFC on FX Alvarez vs. Campman in what was the first ever UFC men's flyweight fight. In a competitive fight, we saw a huge change in momentum in the last round in Ian's favor. DJ was able to squeak out a controversial majority decision. This was later determined to be a scoring error, and the fight was then ruled a majority draw. That one mistake had major implications on the flyweight division's history because a stipulation was in place that in case of a draw, the bout would move on to a 4th sudden victory round. Ian was essentially robbed of his chance to advance in the tournament because after the 3rd round, in which he was close to stopping DJ multiple times, he would have most likely gone on to win the 4th. He even proceeded to do push-ups in the middle of the octagon after the 3rd to show that he still had much left in the tank. Ian would have to settle for a rematch a couple months later though on June 8th, where he would lose a unanimous decision and be eliminated from the tournament. DJ went on to beat Joseph Benavidez to become the inaugural UFC flyweight champion, starting the most dominant title reign in UFC history with 11 defenses of the title. Just imagine if Ian had gotten the 4th round and won the fight. No mighty whiz bar, no mighty gaming possibly, and no trade for being Askren, meaning no record-breaking 5-second flying knee knockout. Moving on with Ian's UFC tenure, McCall faced flyweight tournament runner-up Joseph Benavidez in his next bout, losing a unanimous decision. He got his first UFC win against Ilir Santos at UFC 163 in a fight of the night performance. McCall was forced out of his next 2 bouts against Scott Jorgensen and Brad Pickett due to injury, making it his 3rd cancellation in the past 4 fights, with the other one being against John Moraga. The bout with Pickett was rebooked on UFC Fight Night 46, where McCall would score a UD victory, making it 2 in a row. A little deja vu happened next, with McCall pulling out of his scheduled bout with John Lineker at UFC Fight Night 56 due to a blood infection and having the fight rebooked at UFC 183, where he lost a unanimous decision. Lineker missed weight. The bad luck continued as McCall had his next 6 fights in a row canceled, with him pulling out of 3 of them due to injury or illness. Ian was granted his requested release from the UFC in October 2017, a full 2 years after his last fight against John Lineker. He left with a record of 2-2-1 in the promotion, having as many fight cancellations as he had actual fights. Ian signed with Japanese promotion Rizin shortly thereafter and was scheduled to compete in their bantamweight World Grand Prix on December 29, 2017 against Manel Kite. The build-up to this fight was extremely chippy, with punches even being thrown at the weigh-ins. The two went back and forth throughout the fighter introduction, setting the table for a scrappy contest. They engaged quickly, with Manel channeling his inner Kirk Cousin yelling out, "You like that?" every time he landed. After an exchange on the feet, they ended up in the clinch along the ropes, wildly jockeying for head position. Manel jumped the guillotine as he was slammed to the mat by Ian, and seconds later you start to notice the entire side of Manel's body covered in blood. The ref separated them and noticed the blood was coming from Ian's head, and quickly got the doctor in to examine the cut. The cut was deemed too severe and the fight was waved off. Manel began to berate a dejected looking Ian, then went on to hit his signature celebration in the ring. Manel was declared the winner by TKO due to a cut only 1 minute and 48 seconds into the fight. But what caused the cut? It's believed that McCall was cut by the ring ropes. The ring ropes. Now, I did see Manel land a sneaky downward elbow and a knee in the clinch, but multiple media outlets and the ever so trustworthy Wikipedia have it listed as the official cause. What a bad break for the most unfortunate fighter in the world. I mean, what else can be worse than losing to the ring ropes? Getting KO'd in just 9 seconds in your next fight, that's what. McCall faced the man who won the Rizin bantamweight Grand Prix, Kyoji Horiguchi, at Rizin 10 in 2018, and yes, he was KO'd in just 9 seconds. That spelled the end for Mr. McCall's run as a martial artist as he announced his retirement on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani.
Well, just that, I'm retiring finally. I think people have been waiting for this for a long time. Yeah, I'm done. This sport has taken so much from me. I've given. I shouldn't say it's taken. I've given this sport so much. And sure, I was the best in the world years ago, and sure, people keep bringing up my Al Bundy moment about beating Demetrius. Oh, you're the guy, and blah blah blah. I've had a good run. It's been fun, but at the same time, it's over.
Ian's career is without a doubt one of the oddest and most unfortunate ones out there. It's a great example of just how volatile history is. What if the cards were read correctly? Where would he be, and where would Mighty Mouse be? It is really one of those what if Piotr Jan didn't throw that knee situation. He maintains to this day that Mighty Mouse knows he is the better fighter. While I don't agree with that, I do believe Ian could have been a better fighter that night on March 3rd. He ended his career with a record of 13-7-1, which really doesn't reflect the caliber of fighter Ian actually was. Currently, Ian is a psychedelic integration coach, which is someone who regulates psychedelic experiences to maximize the benefits of the experience in a controlled setting using psychedelics such as ketamine, LSD, or DMT.
I'm going to go down and do another dose, a fractional dose, and it's going to be way more powerful because I was able to sit there and dog walk my younger, damaged, much dumber self through the process. And, I had this basically a square inside the circle of life. And these were 4 events in my life, my addictions, the things with women, my family, and there was big fame and the dissolution of me, and I had to, it would just turn and boom, and I would focus on one thing. And then I would sit back as the therapist, and I began, gave me the tools to do this. My dumb self, my young self would comment on it. And I would look at myself and go, no, you're not doing that. You're not going back into a situation like that. That's not how we do it. No. And then he would comment again, and I was able to psychologically analyze everything and talk to myself about it and say, dude, everything is okay. You're safe. Like, let's go over this and realize why we can't make these same mistakes again.
Ian's coaching is particularly for athletes trying to heal from TBIs or traumatic brain injuries, and he started a nonprofit organization called Athletes Journey Home. He also had a podcast called Silly Guys, spelled in a way that is a plural in the word sight, but it doesn't seem to be active as of late. Ian made a return to martial arts competition after 5 years away in July 2023, taking on social media jiu-jitsu influencer Schmiedywit in a grappling match, winning by decision. After beating Schmiedywit, Ian will return for another grappling match a year later in 2024, taking on Mike John at Subversive 10, losing by heel hook. Here in 2026, Ian McCall is now 41 years old and has seemed to be settled into the post-fight life. He uploads regularly on his Athletes Journey homepage, where you can hear him discuss the effects of fighting alongside guys like Razor Rod McCullough and Mike Guyman. Wishing Ian the best in his future endeavors, and hopefully his bad luck doesn't rear his ugly head again. Alright you guys, we have made it to the end of this video. I appreciate you if you made it this far. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of this video and give me some suggestions. I appreciate you guys as always for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.
Right. Well, I had the last one with this real. How'd your...
It started off as a joke. I grew this manly beard one time, and I shaved it and grew out a mustache, and it just kind of grew from there. And now I can't shave it because people love it. And sorry, it pays the bills.
Nice, man. Well, appreciate your time. Good luck with everything.
Thank you,
MMAelite.net.